Welcome to Spotlight in Business. I'm Tammy Defoe, president and founder of GTApreneurs, and I have the pleasure of having with me today Serene Chin. She is a mortgage agent extraordinaire with Pineapple Mortgage. I've been working with her now for over 6 months. Very impressed with her knowledge and very happy with her services. So please tell us more about yourself, Serene. First of all, thanks for coming on the show today.
Thank you very much for having me today, Tammy. It's great to be getting in the spotlight this time.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I have been with Pineapple a little, almost a year now. I've been a mortgage agent for just a little 2 years, and prior to that, I was a business owner, and I had my own dog cake bakery for over 10 years. So I made the transition about 3 years ago, and yeah, it's been a wonderful journey.
fantastic. Yeah, and so why decide to become a mortgage broker? Because that's like a really big difference. Making cakes for dogs and then mortgages.
Um, that's actually a very interesting story. I would say I got into the business completely by chance, but not. So as I said before, I had my own bakery for over 10 years, but prior to that, I was working at the bank for a few years.
Mhm.
And when I closed down my business, I really have no direction of where I wanted to go. So I went back to my comfort zone, basically is it was the bank. So I went back to the bank as a mortgage specialist assistant.
Mhm.
And a few months in, I really love the business. Like it's very good. I get to see different files every day. I love the business itself. It's just when you have been a business owner for so long, I wasn't built for corporate life.
Mhm.
So it's just yeah, it was me. I was like, I realized why I left corporate in the first place, and so I decided, you know what, this is really not for me. I've tried it, and I decide to exit my corporate job again, get my own license,
Mhm.
and became a broker. Picked my first brokerage, and here I am right now.
Fantastic. Yeah, exactly. That once you get that taste of the entrepreneurial world and stuff like that, it is hard to go back,
It
you
is.
know. I
It
mean, for
is
many
certainly.
reasons, right? Because you have to do what other people want when you want them to do. They
Yeah.
want you to do it, right? And then
Yeah.
follow all their rules and stuff. And what about this? No, sorry, this is how the bank works. You know what I mean? And that,
Yeah.
so I definitely get that obviously being an entrepreneur myself, that
Hmm.
doing that, right? And I mean also too, when you're working with clients that it's about what's in their best interest, right?
Hmm. 100%. Like
Yeah.
it's very, very different world, I think, corporate versus the entrepreneurial world. Is we get the flexibility, but and people like the stability in a corporate job, right? Obviously, but the satisfaction that we get as entrepreneurs, I mean, you and I both know it's much, much higher.
Mhm.
Yeah.
In terms of the service you're able to provide to your clients though,
Hmm.
right? Because if you're at the bank, they just offer the bank mortgage, right? And that you
Yeah.
can
So it's
offer.
just the one product, right?
Okay.
Versus when you're with a broker like myself or agent like myself, then we have a variety of choices for our clients. So it gives them more choices. And depending on each client is different, then we
Mhm.
can cater towards what they need and give them the best advice.
So, so why have different types of lenders? Was it just more of a competition of who's going to charge less than who, or, why did different types of lenders exist?
For like different lenders focuses on they're good at certain things.
Mhm.
Some are more they like to well they're more well versed in first time home buyers. Some are more on some businesses. Like ones are all for reverse mortgages, right? Everybody has their own specialty.
Mhm.
So with different lenders, according to the client's needs, right, we can be like, okay, you are a self-employed individual, then maybe this particular lender is a more better choice for you. Right?
Mhm.
In terms of flexibility, the way they look at your income, the debt ratios that they looked at, it might be more flexible. And depending on the client's needs, some people I want to pay down my mortgage faster. So wherever can have a better prepayment option, 10% principal put down versus 20% principal put down,
Mhm.
it makes a big difference for them.
Mhm. Yeah. Now, what about for people who like have a bad credit rating? Can you help with those people? or maybe their
Yeah,
income.
for people who have bad credit ratings, if they're in a consumer proposal or they have bankruptcy before, we do also have lenders available for to help out with those people as well, and we can also help with credit rebuilding as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. And so, so for self-employed people, so I've heard that, the people often go to a broker for that
hmm
versus the bank because they have a harder time getting approved at the bank. Can you tell us
hmm
more about that?
So being a small business owner for over 10 years myself, I understand the struggles of being a small business owner when you go to the bank, trying to get a mortgage. Because most of the time the banks will be like how long, depending on how long you've been in the business, most of them will look at least a 2-year average of you that you're in business. They want to take a look at your tax, documents, right? So as business owners, we all know we expense a lot of stuff as well.
Hmm.
So what exactly is we report to the CRA versus what we actually make is a lot of it's expensed. But when a bank look at it, they will just look at the CRA documents, which is a significantly lower number.
Hmm.
So when the business owner comes to us, we do have lenders that will look instead of looking at the CRA documents, we can look at your bank statement. We
Hmm.
can look at the bank statements to look for cash flow,
Hmm.
which is a better representation of how much we're making.
Hmm.
And we can annualize those numbers to give you a higher number so then you can increase your borrowing power as well.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
So
like that's why a lot of business owners actually come to us, and then we have like a lot more flexible and creative solutions for them.
Mhm. Yeah, so I mean, for example, if someone has a home office, they're going to claim, deduction for their home office, but they're paying for their home anyways, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they're deducting part of their internet or part of their, their phone or something like that, or part of their
hmm
vehicle, or maybe they're getting depreciation from their vehicle or something like that. So all
hmm
these things where, they're expenses that people were going to pay anyways,
hmm
right? Maybe, but you're using some of them for business. So therefore, you put the deducted from your revenue so you can pay less tax on it, but it's not taking more money out of your pocket necessarily. So you actually do have the funds.
hmm
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll give you a quick example on that. There's a client of mine who has a clinic.
Mhm.
He is a chiropractor, so he was looking to purchase his first home, and he wanted to go with the big banks. So we did the calculations. He does have the 2 years average, but he was a brand new chiropractor for only three, like he was a brand new one for like 2 years before or 3 years. I forgot exactly when. But so his income was varying quite largely. So we ended up averaging everything. He ends up making maybe 30, 40 grand a year on paper
Mhm.
with the average. But so then his borrowing power is not a lot if you only, earning 30, 40 grand a year. But what we did for him is we actually went to a B lender. We used his bank statements to see the cash flow. And we
Mhm.
did actually ended up when we annualized it, he's actually making around 100,
Wow.
Yeah, so that's it. You see the huge difference
Yeah.
there.
Huge
Yeah,
difference.
like he has to expense a lot of things, licensing, rent and all that, the overheads. So a lot of stuff is deducted to make his income so low.
Right.
So, but then once we analyzed his bank statements, actually he's at a really, favorable number, and we actually
Mhm.
managed to get him approved.
Nice.
Yeah.
So tell me about, so you work with business owners, of course, but tell me about the
hmm
different other types of people that you work with.
I work very closely with a lot of first-time home buyers as well,
Mhm.
people who are going through this journey the first time.
Mhm.
For that group of clients, they need a lot of different guidance, and
Mhm.
I'm there every step of the way from, getting their down payment in place, the strategies that they need to input before buying, getting pre-approved once they find a house. What's the next step, right? So I'm there every step of the way for them. And any question they ask. First time home buyers has the most questions.
Mhm.
So I am there to answer any questions at any time for them. The next group that I work really closely with are retirees,
Mhm.
seniors, who are in probably mid some are going to retire, so like let's say mid 50s, 55 plus,
Mhm.
or another big group that I work with. So a lot of those people will be trying to, take out some equity from their home for either as a reverse mortgage for retirement later on, or some of them, a lot of them are actually helping their kids um, to buy their first home. So they're
Mhm.
taking equity out of their existing home and gifting that as a down payment for their kids or as an early inheritance.
Mhm.
So that's another big group that I help with it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I know that there's all kind of good, bad, and ugly right now. There's
Hmm.
some people who are, get the mortgage, no problem, right? And some people are really
Hmm.
struggling. So can you
Yeah.
tell us a recent success story of somebody that you've helped?
I have one client that she bought something in, I'm not gonna say the area. She's a first time home buyer.
Yeah.
So she has been saving up for a while with her money. She's buying with her husband. She has two kids, and her husband works full-time salary. She is a business owner herself. And with the down payment that we use, actually it was actually funny because when we first had the conversation, she only told me she has X amount of money, but I actually do a lot of in-depth, digging questions with her. It turns out she actually has double more of what she
Wow.
had. Initially she told me she's like, oh, I only have $40,000.
Mhm.
Like her budget wasn't very high, which is fine. Like in the area she's buying is completely affordable in the 500 range. So even at 40 grand, she's okay. She meets the minimum
Mhm.
down payment for an insured mortgages.
Mhm.
But once I'd be like, okay, why don't we look in here? Why do we look here? Or check on, other, like she has a financial advisor. I'm like, just take a look at your profile and
Mhm.
see where you're at. Like she doesn't know. She just thought she only had 40 grand. Turns out
Mhm.
she actually have close to 90
Wow.
in there. So she was, well, as Scotiabank says, richer than you think, right?
It's
So
true.
it's a lot of time just finding little monies for my clients. Be like, they didn't know they could use the bank statements to qualify. They didn't know they can use the child tax benefit.
Oh.
Yeah. So she actually has some child tax benefits coming in that she can use that as an income. She's still within that bracket. And yeah, like things like that, little things, we managed to get her into her first home. Um, she doesn't even need to do the 20% down. She put down maybe, I think she did about close to 10. And then we put her with insured mortgage. Usually the rate's a little bit more favorable because it's insured. So we
Mhm.
got in a really good rates under 5%. So it was, she was very happy. She invited me over to her house um, when she moved in. So
Nice.
that was really exciting. Like she was very happy with my service, and I get a lot of thank yous. And she was like, once she finished the renovations in her house, I'll be invited her over for a housewarming party. So those are the best times when you have clients like that, and it just makes me really happy to be able to help them with their home buying dreams and
Mhm.
get them settled in their first place.
Fantastic. Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
look, thank you so much for coming to the show today. I really appreciate that. And yeah, out there, if you are looking for a first mortgage, a refinance, reverse mortgage, home equity line of credit, any type of things to do with mortgage, then Serene is your lady. So reach out.
Thank you so much, guys. Here's my information back here.